And good morning, everybody. We are here with Meet the Merchant. I'm here with Daniel. How do you say your last name?
Langlois, it's a Cajun French last name.
Nice. Okay, Daniel. I am Jeremiah Romo. I'm here with Stander & Company at RadioKair. We are a business services firm focused on entrepreneurship and growing companies. But I want to talk. We're going to talk today about Daniel and his business, and so I'd like for him to spend some time right now. Daniel, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us briefly about what you do and a little history about your company.
Sure. So my name is Daniel Langlois. I'm with Valued Merchant Services. I'm an independent rep with the company. I've been with them about 3 years. Since 2020 is when I got my start. They've been doing the business for over 15 years. So Sean Ruppel and Chris Del Grande, the owners of the company, and they decided to start their own independent sales organization doing merchant services because they saw in the industry there's a lot of how to put this. There's a lot of people that don't really care about the merchant necessarily in our industry. There's a lot of companies like that, and so they wanted to do something different. So I'm very blessed to work with them. They're great guys and great company. So that's a little about Value Merchants.
Okay. Well, tell us about your role, Daniel. I mean, you've taken this role at the company, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing there, what your objectives are.
Sure. Yeah. So back in 2019 or so, before I got started, I was actually praying about what I should do. What's my next step? And I got an email one day from Chris, and he said, "Hey, I found your resume. It looks like you'd be a good fit." So he extended the offer to me, and it was literally what I was praying for, is this type of opportunity with all the components to it. And so my role as a regional account manager is I actually consult with merchants. So I sit down with business owners, I go over what's going on with their business, where they could need help, kind of like what you do, Jeremiah, but more specifically just for the credit card processing. Although my company does partner with other companies and partners to provide other services, my main focus is just the credit card stuff. So that's where I specialize in and focus on.
It's a huge, it can be an incredibly huge challenge for a small company trying to figure out, how they're going to solve that problem and how they're actually going to, receive money. And so tell us a little bit about your solutions and what it is that, how you go about helping the small business owner get set up with your POS system.
Sure. So as I said, I'm a consultant. So although I offer point of sale solutions, I'm not the point of sale guy necessarily. Now what I mean by that is I'm not trying to sell someone a specific solution or not.
Okay.
So, and just to be fully honest, completely transparent, I don't care about selling a certain solution to make money either. A lot of guys out there, they mark it up, which is perfectly fine, normal industry practice. I actually don't mark up any of the solutions that I'm selling. So that's my main focus, is to get them something that works for them. I sit down with a business owner and I look at their statement, I analyze it, see what their rates are, see how much we can save them, and I ask them questions to draw out, see what their pain points are and what's going to be the best solution for them. So my motivation isn't necessarily to make a buck off of the hardware or the software. My motivation is to help that business owner with where they're at to get to where they want to be. So that's my main focus. With that said, we have all kinds of different solutions that we offer. The standard, we offer Clover, we offer QuickBooks integrations for different types of merchants. I'm not going to offer a business owner that has a restaurant the same thing as a plumber, right? They have very different type of needs. So for each type of need, we look for the current solution that's going to fit them.
And does that come with different applications? I mean, are they all? I mean, you just tailor them, so you got lots of different solutions, I guess is what I hear you saying.
Absolutely. For example,
what about fees? How's that play into it?
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest questions, and I'd actually like to give merchants that are listening a little education about how the fees works, because that's one of the first questions I get asked. Oh, what are your fees? So what are my fees versus what is Visa's fees and MasterCard's fees? It all gets wrapped in there. So there's something called interchange, and there's something called dues and assessments. So what these fees are, it's fees issued by the banks of a cardholder, right? And it's also fees issued by the card brands themselves.
Okay.
So that's what goes into what the actual base cost is, right? And one of the most popular pricing plans in the industry, and one I usually go with, is called Interchange Plus. So we take what that cost is for the card brands and the banks, and we just do a markup on top of it, and that's our profit. So I'm very transparent about that with merchants. Most of the time they have no idea how that works. So I like to educate them first, while we're talking about pricing, to let them know, hey, I don't actually control most of the pricing. It's out of my control. It's the card brands and the banks. However, I'll let you know what they're charging. I'll let you know what my markup is on top of it. So I'm very fair, very honest about that.
Is that why some merchant services can offer the actual system itself? Like sometimes you hear that those are free of charge. Is it because they mark up on the per swipe?
Gotcha. Yeah. So there's always a markup, no matter who you're going to go with. Some companies out there, their way they do it is they'll lease you equipment sometimes, or they'll give you free equipment. Well, I'm not going to really talk bad about any other companies, but the way I do it, at least, is I'm very transparent about what we charge. Typically, we don't lease equipment, and we don't necessarily give out free equipment, although that's a case by case basis. What we do is tailor the solution to what the merchant needs, and however I can help them, I will. So we don't lock merchants up in a contract either. So a lot of the times, if they're going to give you free equipment, they make you sign an agreement and say, hey, you must process with me for X amount of years. And if you try to get out of it, then you have to pay a big fee. I actually don't do that, and the reason I don't is I want the merchant to know, hey, you can fire me at any time, and there's no cost to you, right? That keeps me on my P's and Q's to make sure I'm offering the best service. I'm getting you the right solution. I'm not going to go back later and try to mess around with your rates or anything like that. And you know that because you can fire me at any time. So it puts the pressure on me, and it takes the pressure off of the business owner. That's why I like doing business that way without contracts.
Gotcha. You mentioned there's a difference in the types of solutions you provide. For an example, a plumber versus a restaurant. Mm-hmm. So I'm a plumber. What are those different? Let's pretend for a second that I'm either a plumber or I'm a restaurant, and explain those so that our listeners and our viewers can understand, how you would approach each of those situations.
Sure. So whether you're a business owner that has a plumbing company or a restaurant, I'll sit down with you. I'll assess your current situation, see what you're doing. So, for example, if you're a plumber, you might be using QuickBooks to send invoices. So I have a really great integration tool called Biller Genie that integrates with QuickBooks, so you can able to send invoices, but you can actually now customize them, and you're getting access to lower rates than what QuickBooks offers with it. Very affordable, and then on top of that, with that, you actually do get me as a personal customer service rep. And part of my sales point for myself is that, hey, you have a local guy you can call on and ask questions. You're not going to call a 1-800 number and be on hold for an hour, waiting for someone to respond. When you're in the middle of a crisis, you're trying to run your company, something went wrong, you need help right now. You don't need help in an hour from now after tech support finally answers and might get help. So I'm Johnny on the spot to help out my merchants when they do have issues going on. But yeah, to answer your main question, yeah, I would offer someone, like a plumber per se that's using QuickBooks, Biller Genie. For a restaurant, I would assess what kind of situation they have going on, whether if they do need something simple like a Clover, some merchants use that. I'm actually in the process of setting up one business owner with SkyTab, which is an awesome solution. They have really cool programs, very intricate but user-friendly. It's actually really low cost as well to get a SkyTab by Shift4.
What is that SkyTab? What does that do?
So it's very intricate. I'm actually still learning everything what it can do, but it's really great for all types of restaurants. So SkyTab, you can have a mobile solution where you go to the tables and check out. I'm sure you've probably seen them when you dine in some places where maybe the waiter has it in their hand.
That's nice.
They also do have a solution where they can print out a receipt, and you can scan the QR code on the receipt and pay from a web page. So that's solutions like that. It's really user friendly, and it's what we call one of the legacy point of sale solutions by Shift4. So Shift4, Focus, these types of companies have been around a long time, and we've actually partnered with them to be able to provide that point of sale for restaurant owners.
You said earlier that when a customer has an issue, you're able to kind of be on the spot and help versus them calling tech support. Just give us an idea of what a lot of merchants, or especially new businesses that are coming into the market and they're getting ready to buy a business, they have no idea what kind of issues they can run into or what these kind of challenges are. So tell us just some common experiences that you've had, or what kind of issues can come up, or what can technically challenging things that can happen that that you're able to kind of solve versus the 1-800 number or tech support that they're going to have to contact.
Sure. So I'll give you a couple examples, Jeremiah. So in the past, I've had a merchant where she had some issues going on with her bank, and they just shut her bank down out of nowhere, really quickly. So I don't know what was going on with her and her bank, but they had some kind of issue. Anyways, she called me and needed something very quick to be able to switch banks so she can continue taking car payments. So the way I work, I went out of the way to go meet with her, fill out all the information, right? But not only that, I went to the bank with her employee that has access to the bank account to get a certain piece of paper that we needed. So I go out of my way for merchants. Just yesterday, I met with a merchant. He called me last week. He had his first chargeback. He's a mechanic, and this customer's trying to say he had a faulty, part, and so he's trying to get back $700, and also all the situation. He called me up freaking out. I'm like, hey, Lionel, I got you. I'm going to meet with you. We're going to figure it out. So yesterday I met up with him, and what I actually did is I sat down to dispute a chargeback. So if you don't know what a chargeback is, a chargeback is, so say you go to like a mechanic shop, right? And they say they're going to provide a service and say they don't. You, as a card holder with the card brands, you can file to get your money back because you're claiming that the merchant did not provide the service or product that they said they did.
And so they either approve it or deny it.
So what happened with this situation is, it goes to he said, she said. I'm not taking one side or the other. But I, as the merchant services provider, I have my merchants back.
Yeah. All
right. So based off what he told me, I helped write out the letter for him, and I submitted it to dispute. Now, normally, your credit card guys, they're not going to, if you're with a regular credit card company, like say if you're with your bank processing, not going to, throw any names, this or that, on banks or whatnot, but they're not going to send out a rep to your business to sit down with you and write out a letter to dispute a chargeback. They're going to say, here's the letter, fill it out, and go send it in. They're not going to sit down with you and offer that personal customer service like I do.
Right. That is very unique, and I think needs to be on your website. That's a differentiation that you don't get. And so what happens if something happens to you and what is your merchants does the company you work with, is this a common service, or are you just that unique as a representative?
I can't speak for other representatives necessarily. Since we are 1099, we're contractors. We can run our individuals, business within the company however we wish.
Yeah.
This is just how I decide to do it personally. Yeah. Someone that has mentored me in the business, Eric, he's over in San Antonio. He's been doing it over 10 years. He taught me a lot of this, so I can vouch for him. He's like that with customer service. He helps out his customers that well. Say I'm not around, we do have a 24/7 customer service number you can call. And a lot of the point of sale solutions, if it's about that specific solution and it's not on the credit card end, you can call them as well.
Yeah.
Typically, but I'm the first point of contact.
Yeah.
So that's
what added value. That's the personal touch.
Yes.
That I think that differentiates you, and I think that more people need to know about, and could be the difference between who they do business with and who they don't. So you offer free quotes and that.
Yeah.
And so what kind of customer are you looking for?
Good customer for me. someone that, I'll give you an example. Last month, we had a client reach out to our company, Valued Merchants, online, and they were getting hassled by their current provider. They're a dentist office, and they need to do payroll, but this current their former merchant service provider was holding their tens of thousands of dollars for weeks at a time, and they were having to take out loans and stuff and all this crazy stuff to make payroll. So I'm looking for merchants that are having a current issue. I'm looking to solve problems. A lot of the times when I talk to merchants, they're okay with who they have, and that's great. I'd say if you're getting treated fairly and everything's good with the pricing and everything, awesome, stick with who you are. But what I provide is a free audit, a free look. I'll look at what your current rates are, I'll assess your situation, see if there's any way I can improve it, and I'll tell you straight up, honestly, if I can't improve it anyway, stick with who you got. You're getting treated fairly. I'm here for the business owners that might be getting treated unfairly and feel like they need a technology solution that their current provider can't offer or won't offer. Or if they need better customer service, they're calling on and they're on the phone with tech support for hours, they're having issues. I'm here to help those types of merchants. So with that, it could be a plumber, or it could be a restaurant owner, a coffee shop. I'm not necessarily limited to who I can work with, who I can't. Now there are certain limitations, like big brands like Walmart. Obviously, I'm not going to do the merchant processing, but I'll help whoever that needs help.
So, any advice that you have to our listeners and our viewers today on any tips, anything that you can give away, any wealth of knowledge that you can give away that maybe they can implement or they can consider doing to help them with their systems?
Gotcha. So if depending on what kind of system you have, in your business type, I would say at least have someone audit your rates every 6 months or so. So that's something I personally provide. Is I'll come in and audit your rates, make sure you're getting treated fairly. So have someone, like a third party or an outside source audit your rates. And even if you don't switch over, you could take that quote back to your current provider and maybe they'll give you a better deal. That's part of it. In terms of like your current point of sale system, it's good to have a good point of sale system, especially if you're a restaurant, because you're able to keep up with your inventory, you're able to keep up with your costs better. If you don't have all the information, your P&L is not going to look quite right. You're not going to be able to assess, am I actually making a profit, or is that employee taking, a product, I'm not aware of it. So with a good point of sale solution, you're actually able to keep up with certain pieces of information in your business a lot better that are really important to make sure that you're doing business in a profitable manner.
Wow, Daniel, this has been definitely informative and helpful. Any closing quotes? Anything that you got to say that that you'd like to add before we leave?
Sure. Yeah. So the way I do business and my personal philosophy, I wrote it out here. I'll find it and I'll give it to you. My main motivation in life is my faith in God. So I'm much less motivated by money or anything else that the world can offer, though I also need to feed my family. I need to eat. My personal philosophy is that if I work hard and I do right by God and others, I will get paid what I'm worth in the marketplace. So with that said, I labor to always be honest and upfront with others and how I can help them. I will never recommend a service to a business owner that I truly don't believe that will benefit them, even if that means they're not working with me or and they're sticking with their current provider. So I would say do business in an honest manner yourself, whatever you do. Whatever your hands find fit to do for work. Be honest, praise God for it, be thankful every day, and then do right by others.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming to the show today, Daniel. It's definitely been a pleasure speaking with you and meeting with you. So again, everybody, this is Valued Merchant Services. I'm here with Daniel. I'm Jeremiah, closing out on RadioKair. Thank you.